right, man. We gotta understand something. All right, I think we're ready. All right. Dr. Ravi Zacharias broke this down, so we're gonna do the same thing. So we got evil in the world. If you don't believe me, turn on the channel 6 News at 6 p.m. If there's evil, there has to be good. That's why we have, people feeding the homeless and adopting abandoned babies. So if there's evil, then you know there has to be good. There's good, there has to be a moral law. And then if there's a moral law, there has to be a moral law giver of that law. And then if there's a moral law giver, there has to be a God over the universe. Okay? So, again, if there's evil, which I can prove there's evil, you can prove it too. Be honest with yourself. Turn on the news if you don't believe me. There's always someone being murdered. Look at what Adolf Hitler did. There's always been evil. People killing people, people aborting babies, people murdering people. Yes, there's evil in this world. That's a fact. You can't argue that. Then you have to understand that if there's evil, then there has to be good. And then that's where you get into, people adopting babies and, nonprofits helping homeless people and whatnot, people giving money to charities. These are all facts. Then you go into if there's good, then there has to be a moral law, because the moral law is what you ought to be doing, and it's a standard. And so you got to understand that it's common for everyone to assume that murder is wrong, right? People will act like murder's not wrong. Atheists, when I debate them, they're always like, oh no, murder is subjective and it's not really wrong until we kill your family. Then it's wrong, right? I've never met anyone in the world that if I go and kill your mom and dad, then you're like, oh, it's okay. It's subjective. Like, it's not evil. Yes, it's evil, very evil. And you will want me to be in prison for it. So let's keep it real. So that we got the moral law. And then if there's a moral law, there has to be a moral law giver of that law. So on the earth, we have judges, right? And so the law is in place that if you murder someone, you go to prison. You get death row. Well, same thing with God. When we sin, we get death row. Yeah, there's a place called hell. It's real. But when we obey the law, we're pleasing to God in the spiritual realm, and we go to heaven when we die through trusting in Christ Jesus. But on earth, you don't get speeding tickets. You don't go to prison. That's the natural law. And then, again, if there's a moral lawgiver, because of the moral law, there has to be a God who has a standard, a holy standard, here on earth for us to live by. And that's where we get the 10 Commandments in the Old Testament, in the Torah, the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Bible. And then in the New Testament, you have Jesus Christ fulfilling the law of the Old Testament. He ain't come to abolish it. He came to fulfill it and everything. So in the Old Testament, it's in Hebrew. The New Testament is in Greek. And this is pretty much the breakdown. I want to give a shout out. I know he passed away and he's in heaven with the Lord, but Dr. Ravi Zacharias used to teach this. And I was blessed by it. I heard it from another apologist on the East Coast. And it was a blessing, man. So I hope you guys learned something. God bless.